Hello, and welcome to this short review of the bookkeeping process. First of all, let's just distinguish between bookkeeping and accounting. Bookkeeping is usually regarded as the process of recording transactions in an accounting system. And accounting is what happens next, the analysis of the data in the system and producing reports for stakeholders. For many years, the records were kept in manual ledgers, like this nice leather-bound one. These are known as the books of account. You can still buy paper accounting books from stationers, but most people tend to use a spreadsheet these days. Here's the inside of the same book with the immaculate handwriting and the number columns on the right-hand side. So with manual bookkeeping, you have two sets of books, the day books and the ledgers. Day books are also known as the books of original entry or the journals. And the journal is just that, it's like a diary. It's an entry of all the transactions in date order. And then every now and again, that data is transferred into the ledgers, which are grouped into these headings here. You have a set for your debtors, the customers who owe you money. You have a set for your creditors, who are suppliers that you haven't paid yet. You have a book for your cash, and you have a general ledger for everything else. Going back to the day books, the transactions are recorded in there as they happen. Basically, as you get these documents on the left, the source documents, as you get sales invoices, purchase invoices, and so on, they're recorded in day books for sales, for purchases, for cash transactions, and for everything else there is a general day book, general journal or general day book. Right, the general journal, as I say, covers anything not in the other journals. In particular, it will cover the purchase of non-current assets like vehicles and buildings and so on, which don't really go into the others in a convenient way. But also, if the accountants want any changes made, they will document those and it will be recorded in the general journal as the changes are made. General journal, commonly just known as the journal. Moving on to the general ledger, this is the one that contains most of the transactions other than debtors and creditors and cash. This records all the other things that go on in the business. So there will be an account for sales, an account for purchases, an account for travel expenses, and so on and so on. Everything that you want to keep track of will have its own account in the general ledger. In most accounting systems, the ledgers use a system called double entry bookkeeping. And so every transaction is recorded in two places, usually known as a debit entry and a credit entry. If you need to know about debits and credits, at the end of this presentation, I will show you where you can find out more about them. Let's just have a look at the accounting side of this. So you've got the information in the ledgers, and the accountants will extract reports for various users. So financial statements, management reports, and so on. Notice that we've still got one of the books of original entry on this slide, which is the general journal, and that the data flow is two ways between the ledgers and the general journal, representing amendments that the accountants need to make to the ledgers, which are passed in through the general journal so that there is a record of what amendments have been made. Right, this focuses essentially on a manual system. Let's have a quick look at the use of accounting software. With accounting software, most of the data is stored in the database. There are import forms, so you can put in your information about sales transactions, purchase transactions, and so on, in much the same way that a manual system would use the day books. And then you get the reports. You get the same reports as before, financial statements and so on. But here you also can get reports of the day book or a ledger, because they do not physically exist in an accounting system. So if you want to see them for some reason, they need to be extracted from the database. And that is a brief overview of the bookkeeping process. If you need to know more about debits and credits, follow this link to a video all about it. Thank you for your attention. I hope you found this video useful.